Hello there, everyone. Welcome to another morning showcase. I am delighted to have with me here today Roy Fever from RightVal. How are you, Roy? You okay?
I'm very well, Simon. How are you today?
Good, good. I'm looking
Good.
rough and ready, but that's the new look. So it's not that I've had the inevitable mental breakdown. This is meant to be.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
We didn't need you to comment. So we already got.
That's fine. I'll zip.
Yeah, we've got Mr. Mint saying hello, and obviously long-time friend of the show, Zoe Boywater. Hello, guys.
There's my stalker, Zoe. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that seems to be a growing theme, actually, that Zoe is industry's best kept stalker.
I think it probably is. Yeah, that's the crowning glory. There we go.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, look, let's get a bit of context about you. So, title today is we're going to be obviously introduction to RightVal and why agents should choose you. So, Roy, do you want to give a bit of background? Because of course you are one of those, as I tend to be a little bit biased. You're one of those wonderful organisations that or prop tech businesses that didn't start in an ivory tower. It started from agency, seeing a challenge, seeing a real need, and you built from there. Do you want to just give us a bit of context around that?
Yeah, of course I can. So I started in property and estate agency 23 years ago. And a very dear friend of mine, Matt Sutton, who's the kind of like the tech genius behind RightVal, it was just about 2 years ago, actually. He dropped me an email sort of talking about we were already using an online valuation tool. Questions were flying around, and we kind of went, well, let's do one ourselves. And I think, in all honesty, Simon, I think what we wanted from the outset with RightVal was just to be really simple, one-click wonder, easy to set up within 5 minutes and get going.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not putting sort of the downers on. I mean, there's some fantastic tech out there. I get it. But from my side and my experience as an estate agent using similar tools and equipment, when people start saying to me, well, your logo needs to be certain pixels and DPI and all this lot, you find you switch off really quickly. So yeah. when we set this out, the criteria was really simple, really effective, dead easy to set up and understand, more importantly, and cost effective. So we got some feedback very early on from Chris Kiriakou, just a quick name drop, about the whole kind of month to month, so not tying people into a contract. So there is no contract to it. It is affordable. And as I say, I think the beauty of where we've had the experience as well is everything we've ever done with this product from day one, not only got my kind of feedback as an agent, we've listened to what the industry's told us as well, so other users, but 23 years of doing it, I know what I want out of it.
Okay, and it is a nice niche to fit into, isn't it? Because it's not like my old world of CRM where to start.
Yeah.
You need to start thinking about sort of almost military planning, how they're doing the data conversion, what's the timing, the integration. Similarly, things like websites. This is genuinely one of those nice ones that can be implemented. It still needs to be thought about, doesn't it? And we'll probably come into that to get the most out of it. But actually, to kick it off, it's not one of those hugely complex tools, is it?
No, not at all. And again, very much like I started my estate agency, and Matt has worked in a very similar sort of, I suppose, idea with his tech side and the sort of companies he's worked with and companies he's started up. We both wanted to do this without borrowing money. We both wanted to prove again, like we've done with our estate agency, that you can do something if you've got the right mindset, and if you're open-minded to what people are telling you, you can create a product that doesn't cost anything up front. And you can just get going, but you've got to believe, and I think that's the real key here as well. I had an experience years ago in a state agency working for, I sort of thought the grass was greener for a brief time. Turned out very quickly I didn't believe in the product and wasn't successful at what I was doing, so I went back to the other company I used to work for. And again, that's the same with RightVal. It's like we firmly believe, well, I know I do, and we've got Emily as well now, that the product we've got is not only cost effective, but as you say, it works and it's really simple.
Yeah. Okay. So that's fantastic to do it. So just give us again, going back to the beginning. How long have you been going? Did you say when did it start?
Yeah. So the initial idea was 2 years ago. Matt and I were chatting, and sort of within 24 hours, we had a very basic working product. And we realised, I think, like you say, it wasn't a particularly hard product to create, but it's making it then work moving forward. So we were running through a test phase probably up until about April last year. We had a number of clients that we managed to kind of coax to use it, test it out for us. Great feedback. We're on the 5th version of it now, and that 5th version's been running since last April. So what we are doing is it's not changing as such now, but we are adding little things like we've sort of changed the layout of the landing, or you can choose the layout of the landing page and so forth. So last April was really our kind of, right, let's get going. And this year coming into January, again, we will go into it in detail in a minute, we sort of added RightVal Manage. So it's really a year and a half.
Okay. And what problem did you feel you were solving for the agents? What was the crux of the issue that you felt that you needed to do to bring RightVal to the market?
For us, again, it was the usability. Quick, easy, 5 minutes, you're up and running and off you go, and you can start generating leads if you've got a basic understanding of some Facebook advertising, for example. So it really comes down to usability from an agent's perspective. That's what we really wanted to get across. And again, that came from my experience of using another product. We wanted it so people can understand it, people can use it, get instant, that minute results. And we've seen it, and they do get it.
So just on that, what's the importance then for an agent to be able to have that online tool? But do you just on that? Do you have any sort of idea yourself what percentage of agents do have or don't have online tools?
I've never worked a figure, but sort of just looking around, you're going to be looking at least 60% of them have got it, but a lot of them don't even have it on the website. A lot of them are using it just with sort of social media marketing, email campaigns, that kind of thing. We found, particularly ourselves using it through the estate agency, that the majority of our leads are coming directly in from Facebook marketing, sort of campaigns we're running there, rather than directly from your website. But it is easy to just pop on your site. You just need to sort of get hold of your web designer, create a button, and off you go.
Is that still an issue these days? I think it's getting much better, isn't it? But some of the web providers do seem to either be totally intransigent to make it happen, or they hit you with a big sort of price tag for what seems like a small bit of work. Is that a problem that's getting better, or does that still form a bit of a blocker for some of your clients?
No, I think, to be honest, because we're very honest from the word go with clients, and we are saying to them, we're not going to sort of suggest that you just put it on your website nowhere else and it's going to generate you 50 leads a month. That's not going to happen. Let's be honest about it. You've got to drive this forward. So again, we talk to clients, never had a problem so far, touch wood, that clients not been able to create the CTA button, call to action button, to pop it on your website. But without a doubt, Simon, the website is not where your traffic's going to be driven from. It will happen. There are funnels in there, and again, there's no people out there that are kind of saying you've got to put the buttons here, there, and everywhere and make everything work. So it will happen. But as a general rule of thumb, we've not had an issue with anybody not being able to get it live, if that makes sense.
You got me going again now. I'm a big fan of funnels at the moment.
Yeah.
I've got like a mad scientist whiteboard of all these funnels are going on.
Okay.
I think it's that's enough about my private life. But I mean, really, a valuation tool has to be in the kit bag, doesn't it, of an agent looking at those funnels? I mean, you mentioned 60% of agents. That feels about right, 1 in every 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to understand. Maybe there's some agents here who are watching who can comment on what they feel it is. I know some agents feel like they do feel like maybe it had a place earlier on, but the public are a little bit wise to it now. I think most of the public do understand that this is normally a data gathering tool and everything. But that doesn't, in my head, that doesn't mean you should still run away from it just because that's.
No, I think one of the biggest conversations I'm having with people at the moment, I think particularly since we've come out of lockdown, a lot of agents are sort of jumping on the bandwagon. They're getting loads of valuation leads now, and not necessarily from a valuation tool because the market is busy. A couple of conversations I've had with a few clients who are like, I don't really want to do this anymore. I don't need it. I'm busy. And I'm saying that's fine. But what you've got to be looking at now, this is your build a relationship for sort of next year's business, the year after, 6, 7 years, 8 years down the line. You need to be sort of talking to these people on a regular basis. And And I think one of the biggest things that I do say to clients is make sure you've got some kind of nurture campaign, a blog, a regular newsletter. You need to be there in people's minds. You need to be talking to people.
So don't leave it in isolation. Basically, like everything, it should be Omni Channel. You should have nurture campaigns. If you're just expecting that lead to magically work its way through the funnel, you're gonna be sadly mistaken, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think the other conversation, and again, when we talk about the RightVal manage with clients, where we generate the leads for them effectively and manage them through to them, there's only going to be a very small percentage that will do business, say, within the first 6 to 12 months. A lot of these clients will be on that sort of very early doorstep of their journey. And a lot of people, particularly, you get to about a year, something happens in the market like we're going through now, and obviously the press are screaming that sort of the market levels are up, estate agents are making loads of money, etc. We wish, but it's getting them into that sort of mind frame of that these people at a year, 2-year battle now, coming out of that sort of COVID scenario, they want to know what the price is worth. You may never have spoken to them, but this is your first point to get in now. And I keep saying to people, look, even if you're not on the managed, even if you're just on a bog standard service and you've just got the tool, so to speak, the software, it's a good point to start that journey with people. People will remember. I think somebody said to me that they can't remember the last time they bought something from an advert from the television. But if you're doing subliminal advertising and you're just talking to people regularly, I'm not talking about mailing them every week because they'll get bored and shut you out, but just relevant content. And we know a great guy who keeps talking about content for landlords and so forth, but it's true.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I do. You know what you just said there? I do wish one supplier would one day be brave enough just to call their service the bog standard service. That would be fantastic.
Oh dear, you're setting a challenge now, aren't you? Yeah.
You might have missed out, but there was an attempted coup to take the show the other day, at Roy, which unfortunately I was unable to make it for various charitable work reasons, and David Mintz attempted to seize it, and it just goes to show that we're getting that with my first show back, we're getting loads and loads of questions. So that shows me that the market is responding in kind here.
Good. That's what we like.
We've got a lovely testimonial for you guys from Nick Tatham at Bay City Living's a fan, clearly. Really smooth system, easy to use, great leads, good support. So that's great to hear. And James White, good morning to you, sir, as well. That was a good question. I think that was about the website, but I'll apply it to all the questions that I made. And that's a really interesting one there. If you are going to put it on your webpage, what's the best place to put it on there? Is it a bang central CTA? Is there a more niche area around it? I mean, obviously, is there more to do? What can you elaborate on there?
Well, I think every website's different, and I think again, if you listen to what Chris Kay says, you're going to bring in, again, we come back to that point of the funnel. So you want people to be able to think, I can do that. On our websites, we have at the top of the page and the bottom of the page, sort of some questions throughout it, particularly when we're talking in the landlord and vendor section. It's like, find out what it's worth now. You don't have to always say, get your free valuation, but you can start your journey today. And it's just, I don't think there's any specific point other than you want it as often as you can without it kind of just becoming like a call to action website, if that makes sense. So regular in similar places. I would always say, and again, I stand to be corrected on this from other people's experience, and that's the important thing, is we don't know everything, but we will listen to what people are telling us. Always at the top, every single page, always at the top.
And again, just as important is the terminology. Is it just stick with the tried and tested free valuation here, or are other people trying differences of language that have demonstrably different effects?
I think again, there was an interesting post that came up a couple of weeks ago, and it talked about helping the client. It's not just about kind of ramming it down their throat and sticking it in front of them. It's kind of giving them a reason to click it. So different terminology can be used. Things like "let's start your journey" or "let's help you with your journey." Click here, and then instantly they're on it. They're not thinking they're going to be straight away getting a valuation. You can do another landing page from that pre the valuation and kind of talk about who you are and what you're doing. And I don't think, again, it'd be interesting to hear back from people that are watching this, or on welcome sort of comments that come through, different things that people are using. And I think this is, again, what we're trying to do. I know Chris Watkin keeps saying that he's free 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever when he's doing his exercise. He'll talk to people. I found since doing RightVal, my conversations with a lot of agents out there has changed so much, and it's just nice. Communicate, give feedback to each other. We're all in this together, you know, and if we can help, and if people are using certain things and have seen, I don't know, dramatic increase because they changed the wording or the design of the button, then we'd love to know about it, because everyone wants to benefit from it.
Obviously, Chris, obviously the main man there, he does get a bit angsty though. If he likes everyone to remind you his surname is Watkins, because he gets a little bit angry about the extra one. Also, I like what you said. Obviously, he does do that fantastic thing in the morning, doesn't he? Where he'll take a call from anybody when he's on his exercise bar, just to let the industry know. I do the same whenever I'm eating at Greg's. So that's at 8:50, 8:20, 10:30. 2 a.m. I mean, basically, pretty much on the hour, every hour you can get me. But anyway, there. Okay. Oh, and yes, here we go. Here's you've got an Australian viewer. Here you are. I promised you we'd take you international. David Minch, you've held this to
marvelous.
The first opportunity gets your chop liver. Shane Whaley, the socialist ego. So there we go. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you much. Let me get to the blog.
Oh, I love it.
So Zoe's just jumped in though again, and she says, "What does just going back to that point there about nurturing those? Does RightVal have any kind of more automated links, or do you have to set those up separately?" She's talking here about Drip and Mailchimp, and critically, is it easy to set up? So thanks, Zoe. They're perfect.
Okay, so the best person to fully answer that would be Emily, but unfortunately Emily's not with us today. She's on holiday. Terrible giving staff a week off. I mean, I don't know what that's about. But anyway, so what we did, again, I've always said to Matt, what I want it to be is what I would class as a one-click wonder. Okay, and we're not talking about sort of personal life, obviously. So it's more a case of in the agent's dashboard, it's very quickly through to settings. You've got Drip already set in there, so you click the button, put in your Drip details. Mailchimp again, you put in your details, and it'll click through. Same as Zapier, so you can use webhooks. We've got the API integration as well. So kind of everything's there, and again, it's just listening to feedback from people. I mean, Matt always said he could sit there and write tons and tons of different coding for the links to loads of different products out there. But we kind of looked at the main ones that people were using. That's come out as Mailchimp and as Drip. We had somebody the other week trying to set Drip up, was struggling a little bit, but Emily got in there, got it sorted. And again, we don't charge for it. It's just like, we want to help you. We want you to use the product and get the benefit from it.
Excellent. Well, James just jumped back in as well. Just said he meant the homepage or the property results page there. So I think we've answered that one, hasn't he? And he's just as he goes on to say, more than one in various spots. And I think
just you don't want to do overkill with it. It's got to be a reason for them to click that. But don't just have it. I mean, we used to. I mean, something I learned as well. We used to have it on just on the main homepage, on the evolution page, nowhere else. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. Yeah, people aren't always on that home. They'll spin off to something else. So we've sort of multi-populated ours, so it seems to work better.
Cool. And is there other more innovative ways? We mentioned obviously social media is an obvious one there. Do you find people, for example, though, doing kind of prospecting email campaigns, driving people back to a landing page where you do have the valuation tool in there? Is that kind of where things are evolving at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, there is this age-old thing. It's still not. I don't think it's been used to its full potential. Is QR codes. You can put a link on the leaflets, but if you create a QR code, pop it on there, pop it on your leaflets. You can send it initially to a landing page, and then to your from there again, it can click through to your Val page. So again, you very easily monitor the kind of the individual results you're getting from things.
That's a really interesting angle, that, isn't it? Yeah, as I was just saying, that the QR codes, they're making a bit of a comeback, aren't they? I think just that fact that they're now they pop up automatically, don't they, in the camera, has made a big change, hasn't it, in terms of
I mean, when I first tripped over the QR codes, crikey, that must have been about 9-10 years ago, I think. You had to download an app on your phone and to be able to, and you kind of, who's going to download the app just to use it? They're not. But as you say now, I think on iOS, you just hold your camera over and off it goes, and you're in.
And we got Rob jump in as well, obviously just pointing out SMS marketing, obviously popular. Are you seeing in terms of, I mean, this is all Omni Channels as the favourite phrase grows. Are you seeing people getting involved? I mean, one thing is, if you're going to go down that SMS route and indeed WhatsApp or Messenger, you are going to see stellar open rates, aren't you? You've got to be very protective that you don't abuse that.
Yeah, I think, I mean, a conversation I always have with clients, particularly when we sort of launch them onto the managed service, you are going to get people out there that are not abusing it, but are just kind of having a mess around, and you end up with, I don't know, Bob the Builder at bobthebuilder.com, and, they're obvious. And I think sometimes you do have to be very careful, as you say, that you don't blanket spread it, and then you're just kind of diluting the product that you've got. And I think also, and this is always an interesting one, and we've got quite good incentives with our team upstairs. You don't want the staff to become despondent with the results that you're getting. So you want to be aiming for the quality, of course you do. And I think I've not personally explored the SMS side. So Rob, I'll be talking to you at some point, no doubt. But yeah, I think you've got to be very, very careful that you're not, as you say, diluting it and just bringing in a load of stuff that you don't really need from people that aren't really ready or not interested.
Yeah, okay. And Zoe's just asked the question as well, is it governed by a minimum sign-up period?
None at all, no. It's literally month to month. That's just on the RightVal bog standard, as you call it, but just on the RightVal standard package, and even on the RightVal managed, it's just month to month.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah, no tie-in.
James is obviously showing me that Watkins is going to get his revenge.
Fighting talk.
That's an interesting one there. So is it branded or non-branded, and what seems to work best?
Okay, so we don't put RightVal anywhere on your tool. So from a customer's point of view, it's just coming from you as the agent. With the what we've discovered with RightVal Managed, where we're actually advertising for the agent, okay, and we're managing their adverts, and again, we've got Emily who's absolutely superb at doing it, an absolute whiz. It is unbranded. It's like white labeled. We've had conversations. Emily mentioned to me the other day, she was chatting to a client who wanted to switch it so that their photograph had their logo and their people on it, etc. And their numbers dipped. So I think people, if you've just got it white labeled, as soon as they're clicking through, then they go straight to your landing page. You'll have had something in there that can reflect to you as the agent, and then people know where it's coming from. So it's a kind of I suppose, a soft approach to it.
Okay. And I really like that approach, by the way. And one of the problems have been with evaluation tools is that they can be very effective, very accurate with kind of 2 up, 2 downs. There's a lot of comparables there, and you can draw and the, if you want to call it machine learning or just the statistics, obviously you can do that. One of the troubles comes with obviously with the unusual properties, and when you end up with a valuation that is way out of the mindset of the potential vendor, how do you accommodate? Are there simple ways, or is it all about the language that you put on the results page?
Exactly, yeah, just as you said there. And my advice to any client, any agent that's using it, there is that kind. Actually, I suppose from experience, I've actually found it easier to convert a conversation. I don't mean convert it to an instant valuation there and then, like booking a home visit, whatever you want to call it. But it's about kind of having that conversation. So when that valuation lead comes in, I'm always training it out to agents. As soon as it comes in, you need to be on the phone. Or if you've got Bonjoro set up, so the video calling thing, I know there's a couple of agents using that to amazing effect. That's definitely the way to do it. So it isn't always accurate. Yes, I know you mentioned earlier data farming. It's not always perfect. We're actually at the moment looking at bringing on another feed, information feed. So that, again, with Matt's amazing sort of jiggery pokery in the background with algorithms and so forth, that will help sort of finite it down a bit more. But yeah, quite right, as you say. And I think it can struggle if someone's bought, I don't know, a little 2-bed bungalow, and it's in the middle of a field somewhere nearly, or on a back lane somewhere, and then over a year they've kind of tripled the size of it and do an instant valuation. The system's going to struggle.
Yeah.
But if you're quick enough and smart enough as an agent, and you're straight on that phone, having that contact, explaining what you're doing, why it's done that, and even more so, it's very much, well, look, I'm in your area on Saturday. I'd love to see what you've done anyway, and just give you a more accurate price. Bang, your foot's in the door. So it's wrong, it can work in your favour.
It's a proper first world issue that to have a conversation with a potential vendor, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
One of the quite interesting evolutions again, I think, and I think we've really got some way to go with this. A lot of the CRM systems are now stepping up to the plate in terms of, putting the diary booking systems and things like that. Is that how you see that natural flow going? Is if you have somebody teed up initially by the kind of RightVal tool itself, but then it presents the actual valuation price, and then they can lead into book into their whatever their system is, Desres, Repeat, all of them there. Is that again really helping that the smoothness of the funnel just by stopping the breaks? Or
I think it would, but I think you've got to be very, very careful. I mean, something we tested quite heavily was sort of the Facebook diary system, so people booking in through that. And again, I think we're talking about our experience. So this could be very different, Simon, throughout all the agents in the UK, different areas and so on. But we're finding that people they're not taking to that kind of, I want to book an appointment. It needs to start with that conversation. And I think quite importantly, as an agent, you need to be having that conversation. You need to be having multiple conversations, passing information across, adding value to everything you're doing before you even attempt to get your foot in through the door.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going in poorly prepared, and that's not a good place to start, is it?
Exactly. You've not kind of broken that ice point. We utilise, again, within our estate agency, the valuation lead comes in. We'll always ring the person, have a good conversation, find out more about them. And that's the idea behind, I suppose, the valuation product. I think some products out there then carry on doing lots and lots of excellent things afterwards, but it kind of dilutes what we're doing at the front end. And this is what we want to keep doing. From years of experience, prospecting is painful, but you have to do it. There's no set way of doing it, and we found this is by far the most efficient way of bringing people to you. Not everyone's going to like it, I get that, but then again, if you post 1,000 leaflets, you might only get 5 phone calls from it.
There's no marketing that has 100% success rate.
So again, I think, like you said, it's an extra tool in the bag. You've got all these multiple different things to use, and if you're not using it, I think potentially you're missing out. I wouldn't go without it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, the simplicity of those diary booking systems, for want of a better word, there isn't so much about the technology, which, let's face it, isn't hugely complex. It is about the complexity of diary management itself, per se, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, I remember when we started Evolution, and I came away from quite a large independent firm, and we took on our own. Well, we signed up to a CRM system. And one of the things that freaked me out at first was that I didn't realise tenants could book, or applicants could book viewings live. And I was just like, hang on a minute, why is my diary getting all these appointments here, there and everywhere? And it was just like, I can't be in 50 places at once. My wife might think I can, but as a general rule, I can't be in 50 places at once. So I think that, again, you can obviously, through the diary systems, you can then block out what you want, where you want. But I still think you're better off just talk to them.
I think that's definitely got to be in there somewhere. Whether to be a
automation is great, Simon. But I think, again, from talking to a couple of clients that have utilised other products, it's got to come down to you. You've got to pick up the phone. I don't quite understand why you would employ a third party to deal with your inquiries coming in for you. The best people are your local agents that are in that town, that know that stock, they know the prices, they know the areas, they know the schools, etc. They're the ones to pick up the phone, surely.
Yeah, cool. And Mark Bevan just makes the point. Obviously, there's a number of different providers out there. How do you manage to differentiate yourself from those other ones? You don't have to mention them unless you want to. But in terms of something, because many agents would say, well, it's all become commoditized now. It's very difficult to maintain. See the difference. Are you able to make that difference? Make that clear?
Yeah, I think so. And I think if you look at RightVal as a product, what we're putting into it, what we're looking to do, obviously everybody doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes. But it is run by, you see my face, Matt's there, Emily's there. It's very personal for us. And I think when we look at the estate agency world as a whole, we're constantly sort of being reminded that people buy from people. And I think that's where I've learned a lot, Simon. I've got to be honest, since sort of getting into the power of Facebook over the last sort of couple of years, probably a year and a half, really, I've been using it properly and effectively. It's just talking to people, you're there for somebody. I think Nick mentioned it earlier, the support is there because we are there. We'll always answer, I think the big thing for us, I mean, I wouldn't like to do an elevator pitch, but I think the big thing for us is the RightVal managed. And this was born, if you're okay with me talking about it.
No, of course. No.
This was born out of listening to what agents were saying all towards up to sort of run up to Christmas last year, and looking at the stats of how many agents we got on board, paying £29 plus VAT a month, just running with it, but actually not getting the leads, because we can see the leads coming through. For GDPR reasons, even if I've got another agent in my town here in Ashford in Kent using it, I can see a lead, but I can't see the details. So we cut me out of the equation from that point, because obviously I'm still on the ground running. But the big thing we found was agents weren't using it. And I think, as we mentioned earlier, I think as an estate agent, we're all very busy, particularly at the moment. There's only so many sort of balls we can juggle. Every day is different. So you have...
Roy, I have at home, I have what's called the wall of tat, and it's all the things. It's all the things that I've signed up for and just never got around to implementing, or normally gadgets and things, to be fair. But that's that's one of the biggest dangers of prop tech, isn't it? It is. It can be quite affordable to get on board. You can get quite easily seduced by the end product as you see it there. Yeah. But that onboarding process and how easy it is, that's why it makes me feel so much better to hear you repeat that over and over. You know, it is one of the critical factors for success, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think what we found was that agents were signing up to RightVal, which is fantastic. They may be putting on the website. I mean, we'll try and jump around, sort of pop in there, have a look, sort of see what people are doing, drop an email, find out how they're getting on, etc. And again, that's mainly sort of where Emily's now come on board with us to look after clients and just touch base with them. You know, we do care. We want to reach out to. It's not just a money-making exercise, this one.
Yeah.
And we were finding that, again, agents just... if we spoke to them and said, look, you're not getting many leads, we just want to kind of see what you're doing. I haven't got time for it. It's I'm not worried. That's fine. I'll keep paying you £29 a month, which is great. But that's not what we set RightVal to do. It's not just to set, as I say, and make us like retire early or anything. RightVal Managed was born because we recognised there was a, I suppose, a niche in the market. I don't know, somebody might be out there doing it and I've missed it. I don't know, but we created RightVal Managed, where £199 a month, so they get the tool. We spend up to £100 on their Facebook marketing every month. Okay, so we don't need access to their Facebook page. They don't get extra billing, anything like that. We white label it. And again, it comes back to that point, Simon, that we made earlier. If it is white labeled, if it's unbranded, we tend to find we get better results from it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Emily controls that throughout the month. Not going to tell you exactly how she does it, obviously, because then we're giving the game away. But we then generate the leads for the agents to go through to them. And I just think it works. I don't know how else to put it. Again, it's that month-to-month contract. It's £199. You get the tool anyway. We spend £100 of your money on Facebook, so you're not getting an extra bill for your Facebook marketing. Okay, and the remainder pays for Emily and all the skills and everything that she does.
But that's the most, one of the most beautiful things about a service like this. This is a true digital marketing tool where you can easily manage and measure the amount of leads you're getting, ergo the ROI off the back of it. And Zoe, in perfect timing here, has jumped in with, if you get snowed under with leads, you can switch it off, I assume. Yeah. Again, we are we're firmly going to put that in the first world problems again.
Yeah, it is. So coming back to that point, it's an interesting one that Zoe raises, is when we were running it on Evolution initially, just running a normal Facebook advertising campaign, we were spending like £7 a day. We were getting 7, 8, 9, 10 leads a day. And you can get to a point where somebody's on holiday, somebody's off sick, or someone hasn't had a chance to pick it up, or you've suddenly got a new property you've got to put on. So you do run behind on the leads. You never get to ring them all, which is what's the point? You're wasting money. So the beauty of the way we run this is that Emily will, over the period of a month, turn it on, turn it off. Excuse me. And what that allows you to do is get the best per pound out of Facebook for the leads, okay, or pound per buck, whatever you want to call it. But the other benefit to it as well is you get a 2 or 3 day break every now and then, sort of switch on, switch off, switch on, switch off, to actually go back over, follow up those leads, people that have rung you, and actually get the best out of them, because there's no point in getting these leads coming in, okay, and you're not following them all up, or if you try to reach them once, you do need to pick up on it again. Saturdays, got to ring out on a Saturday. Pick up the leads from the last week on your RightVals, the ones that haven't responded, try them one more time, send them a letter, drop a leaflet, 10 up, 10 down, 20 up, 20 down, whatever you want to do. But it gives you that time. It's manageable. We've got a few clients, fun enough, Simon, that are very, very sort of motivated, very geared up, and they've increased their budget spend to £299. So there's another £100 a month. But we don't take profit of that. That £200 goes directly into their Facebook marketing. We don't charge any extra for doing it. So if you want to spend £1,000 a month, 2,000, whatever you want to spend, we'll spend it just on Facebook, full stop.
But obviously you're playing the long game there, because ultimately you'll get the results hopefully through that will again testify to the whole proposition, won't they?
Exactly.
Give us a flavour of that success, Roy. And again, let me caveat it before you feel you have to, of course, because success isn't guaranteed. Obviously, each client is different. But what can it look like for the average agent in a decent area that does as you recommend, sets it up in the right way? You know, you were talking about potentially 50 leads. Was it a week or before? What should we be expecting when they're, like we all do? We get very excited, go into our spreadsheet and our funnels and start playing with this stuff.
Yeah, no, so it's fine. It's got to be realistic. I mean, we don't want to promise something we can't deliver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the different things that will kick in to affect someone's result can be simple things like how many agents are in your town, how many of those agents are already running valuation tool adverts or similar adverts. Facebook will look at, I believe what Emily was talking about is like auctioning. So if you're going to be spending £100 a month and your competitor's spending £200 a month, the chances are Facebook is going to get the £200 a month advert in front of more people because they're liking the fact you're spending more money. Okay, so we've had results, Simon, going from sort of 10 a month, 92, I think it was the record that we had in 1 month for a client for £100 spend. Yeah. It's amazing. I know there's sort of some people out there that are shouting they get 42p a lead, 50p a lead, but this is just regular. It's consistent, and it's bringing you people that at some point will want to talk to you. And it means you don't have to do anything. You just do, from an agent's point, just do what you do best. Pick up the phone and get dialing. I think that was off Wolf of Wall Street, wasn't it?
Okay, well, you know you're playing to my favourite film. The one key thing, though, is I'm very keen to differentiate is, because sometimes marketing, well, it does not sometimes, it suffers from double counting, identifying the source of where that lead can be very difficult because there might be multiple influences. So what people, I think, it feels to me at the moment they don't want to be really going after those leads that they know they're getting already from the portals because frankly they feel they're paying enough there. I am right in thinking that RightVal is a classic example here of a very different audience, isn't it? On the whole.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, that's not to say you're not going to find somebody that you talk to. Particularly, I mean, for us, we have it on our emails, so people can click off the email. They'll see it on our webpage. So you will get the odd one that is already there in your system, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I would say, if I put my head on the chopping block, 90% of people that you're going to get through, you won't have spoken to already, at least, I'd say.
Where that cost per lead really comes into its own then, because
I think so, yeah.
It cost for a new audience member, essentially, there, not, as I said, even still important, as you said, if they are already in your database or have come to you from another thing, that can still be a nice influencing factor. They're just working their way through the funnel, but this is actually getting them at the top of the funnel, which is the most valuable lead of all, isn't it?
Yeah, you can jump in the middle. I mean, if you set up your Facebook targeting correctly, pixels, all that kind of stuff, upload all the information about, you're going to constantly be putting your brand in front of these people. And if it is through Facebook, most of the time it is your valuation tool. One thing that I always try and get across to agents that are doing lettings as well, this is a great way just to keep in touch with your landlords. We all sit there every month paying the landlords, doing a midterm inspection report, whatever. We send out a weekly newsletter and a monthly one to existing clients. Yeah. And in that, there is a little button that says, do you know what your property is worth now? And it just gets that conversation going again. So it's not bringing you new business, but we like to think, and our experience tells us, this is helping you retain business that you've already got. Keeps that conversation.
Could be landlord might have another property on, not with you though, couldn't it, to be fair? So that could be...
Exactly. Yeah, they might have a stray one with another agent, just quite happy, it ticks along. Client, tenant's been in there 10 years and they don't want to move till they're taken out of the box.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't say it that way. But yeah, it's just, again, it just makes you as an agent just that bit more proactive. And again, it's just contact. I mean, I love nothing better. And I've, as I said before, since doing RightVal, I love nothing better than having conversations with agents. I've spoken to quite a few, particularly in lockdown, that kind of just started out, want a bit of advice. No, I don't know everything, Simon. I certainly would never lay claim to it, but I love having a chat. I love bouncing ideas. I've picked up so much from other agents as well, which is really useful for me. And it's just give and take, isn't it?
It is, and Rob's just jumped in again, just supporting what you say there. An agent took 3 weeks to finally set up an ad, only to start receiving 5 to 7 leads a day now. How many leads they missed out on over that 3 week period? Implementation of the tool is key. So that
Absolutely.
So I think he's identifying there what the opportunity cost of not doing this as much as anything is.
And again, coming back to what we were saying earlier, when we sort of got up to the Christmas point last year, from the experience of talking to agents, you talk to people, I don't really want to spend £199 a month. That's fine, just keep the tool, it's not a problem. But what I'm using as an example is pre-Christmas, agents were sort of saying to me, I kind of haven't really done the ads management. But what I've done is I've done the ads, I've created like just a post rather, and I boosted it for 50 quid. My question to them is, what did you get out of that £50? How many leads you get? I don't really know. I didn't really get much. Right. Yeah. Give me that £50, double it, and I'll get you those leads. And that's where we went with it. It was just like, I think I was just getting, I'd say, upset for agents because I'm an agent myself, but it's just, I felt the pain. I felt the, we're spending this money. You want something for this. You want a good, strong lead, and let's make it work for them. And so far, it's not for everybody, but I think you've got to, you're happy to.
Who isn't it for, Roy? I mean, that's probably, because to me it strikes me that pretty much everybody should have this. Yeah. Am I again being too obvious there and missing?
No. I think some agents. I think some of the feedback I've again, I always try and listen to. Somebody says, I'm kind of going to stop for a while. Just try and find out why. It's really important to do that. It's the same when you do evaluation. Why didn't you choose me as the agent? It's not that I'm going to get upset. I want to learn something from this. And I suppose 2 main reasons is, one, I was just getting too many leads, I can't do anything with them. Well, okay, let's talk about setting you up with a nurture system. Have you got it in Mailchimp? Do you? And so on. And it's I'm still shocked to this day how many people don't actually have like a weekly newsletter or a monthly newsletter going out to clients. You've got to do it, guys. It's a great way to reach out. But again, if you've got an agent that may be struggling with the prices, I think there are people or there are agents that feel, and that's not just us, that's all the tools. Some might be a bit more accurate in certain places, whatever. But I think, like you said, Simon, it is a data gathering point. It's an icebreaker point,
And how do the agents themselves manage this tool? Is it pretty much set up, then fire and forget, or is it something you need to keep sort of tweaking and evolving? How much hands-on management is needed from the agent, and how do you support them in that process if there is?
Okay, so it can go one extreme to the other. We generally find agents, just once they're up and running, there's preset templates in the background, off they go.
Yep.
I know something I said to Matt that I picked up last year was there are agents that don't talk about book your valuation. Some people talk it your home appraisal or property visit or all the property advice meeting. So we've set the tool so you can change those little points to suit your business.
Yeah.
But as a general rule of thumb, once you've set it and you're running, all you've got to do, you're done. You sit there, you get the email comes in. You've got valuation. For us, it comes valuation in Ashford. You click the button, so it logs you into your dashboard. And again, it's, from our side, is I suppose a GDPR thing. We didn't really want clients' details floating around in emails. So the agent needs to log in and actually have a look at those. And it's there in the dashboard, and off they go.
Cool. So that's really good. And I mean, is it very quick to get set up as well?
Yeah, again, if you can't do it in 5 minutes, then we're here to help you. I always say to clients, right, when you're getting ready to go, I suppose really the only 3 things you need when you're ready to go, okay, is a copy of your logo, PNG or JPEG, a copy of a picture that isn't, say watermarked, when somebody else copyrighted, sorry. Right. Yeah, so a picture you own or is a copyright free, or you can use, we've got probably about 16 or 20 in the background you can use for your landing page anyway. And just know what the hex color is on your company colors, like with yours, the very bright pink. Just get the hex color and off you go. So they're the only 3 things you need.
Okay.
But everything's set. Everything is there in the background. All the emails, all the nurturing, but kind of like the stage emails that a customer will receive. But you can just jump in whenever you want and tweak them if you want to.
And as you said, Emily's there, and you guys are there to support. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, we've got the live chat. It's ready to go. Anybody gets any questions, say if I'm not there, Emily's there, or Matt's there. One of us will pick it up and always come back.
Perfect. I do like these ones when you get supporters jumping on board and telling you exactly how they're using it. So Rob was making the point again, you can track when somebody first came to you digitally, plus when they actually became known as a person, and how also where was the origin. And he said it's a tool here to convert unknown people to known people so you can communicate with them better and track their problems, concerns for free. So that's classic, isn't it? Build
Absolutely.
that them, start to segment them in a marketing sense, because then that's when you can start to deliver some real extra value in a marketing point.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And you don't have to run too many, whether it's Stephen Brown or whether it's Josh Fegan and everything else. If you're adding anything like those number of leads, whether it's 25, 50, 100 a month there, over the course of a year, 2 years there, that percentage of those people that will be starting to move again, and you have any form of prospecting and nurturing program going on, can really become a really good revenue stream down the line for any established business.
I think my only concern is when agents sign up for it and then they'll get 3-4 months in, they're too busy like now, and it is, we're all very busy rushing around. Don't switch it off.
No,
that's all I can advise.
It's like advertising, though, isn't it? Everything tells you to, it's consistency. Consistency builds trust and reliability and everything else there as well. So jumping in, jumping out, as many people try to time things perfectly, actually has a really counterproductive effort, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think if you're looking at your business now and you're thinking, I just want to get business for tomorrow, then a lot of the stuff you're using isn't going to work. Without doubt, not just RightVal, but all the nurturing system behind it. There's loads of other great tech out there. It's not going to happen. You've got to be thinking, what's going to happen next year? I mean, I was saying this during lockdown. I kept doing sort of individual videos. It's like, guys, people don't want to move today, but they're going to start worrying about what the price of their property is. People are still worried about what the price of their property is. Has it gone up? Has it gone down? The positivity in the marketplace is sort of generally saying prices should still be holding very well. But if you haven't got the ability to reach those people, and just kind of, as you say, a touch point, give them a price, you talk to them. They might not think about it now, but in the new year, they might do.
It's the key thing for an agent, really, is if they can develop their own innate sense of what I call the Goldilocks zone. It's not being demanding something too quickly, with whatever the prop tech is or marketing. We need this amount of leads straight away to deliver on that. That's never going to work for you. You need to give it time enough there. At the other extreme there as well is if things aren't working for you, is to make sure you don't just keep hanging on in there waiting for this magical epiphany or something to change there. You've really got to identify, and it should be a period of just a few months there that you can establish whether this is working right for you, and otherwise ship up and move on, or double down on it if it is obviously delivering value. As you said, moving away from the bog standard one, you might want to then move, okay, well, we are busy, so let's move to a more managed service or anything else like that to deliver on the results you're already seeing. Yeah,
and again, with the managed service, I want to make sure people don't get mixed up that the leads still come through to you as the agent. Okay, we're not managing those leads from the perspective of picking up the phone, having a conversation. You as the agent, you're the best person to have that conversation. I still don't think, and again, I'm not out to pick a fight with anybody, but I think the only people that really should be talking to those are the experienced agents in those towns.
Yeah. Spot on. You mentioned a couple of integrations earlier. Are there any others out there? Are you talking to CRM companies? Do you have CRM companies on the radar?
Yeah, we have. But again, you've got API access, you've got webhooks. So as long as that CRM is running, it'll feed in anyway.
Okay, so you've got a methodology there for integration.
Yeah, you can go to it. And this is, again, what Matt said. He didn't want to kind of create all these individual access points for different companies. And just kind of you could spend your life trying to create that. So why not use something that's already there? Webhooks, Zapier, bang, in it goes.
Cool. Well, Rob's just jumped in with a couple of corking quotes, which I am shamelessly going to steal. Thanks, Rob. No silver bullet for tomorrow. That's great. I'm having that, and that's a really interesting one. Just quantifying that a little bit. Hopefully, talking about that Goldilocks zone and where
Absolutely.
You we found it on average takes 7 months. So the seeds planted for today now are ready for early 2021. That couldn't be more relevant, could we? We're all seeing, I think we're all very surprised to see just how robust this market is at the moment. A lot of people are saying it could start to get a bit tricky around October, November there. This is, again, is not getting back to the point that, you may be, overwhelmed almost at the moment with these, but these are the leads for next year where it could be much more challenging, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think say again, sorry, I missed that last bit.
I just said it's too late to start then, isn't it? When the phone stops ringing, you can't then turn this stuff on. And like we're just saying, right, where are these leads?
Yeah, and this is it. I think, you've hit the nail on the head right there, Rob. Get it now. You're then going to benefit next year, year after, and so on and so on. I mean, they say it was the average 7 years to move. Something you could be doing now could be a benefit 7 years down the line. That could be a 5, 6, 7, 8 grand fee that time. I mean, if you work that out, any agent can cover their costs if they're putting the effort in now of what they're spending out later on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And just obviously looking to wind up in a second. Let's talk about the price point here, Roy. Can you just elaborate?
Yeah. So the bulk standard service, the bulk standard service. So just the basic tool on its own. That's £29 plus VAT per month. It's month-to-month contract. If you paid for it, and it'll just run out at the end of that month. Yeah, if you're looking at the RightVal managed service, that's £199 plus VAT per month. And again, don't forget, that gives you the tool anyway, so you can utilise that wherever you want, on your website, on your marketing, wherever. We spend up to £100 for you on Facebook through our own white label pages to generate the leads through to you. And the remainder out of that, and I'm always honest, covers the cost of Emily, who's absolutely fantastic. And again, that's what we wanted. We wanted to make it personal for agents. We wanted it so they could reach out if they have a question or have a problem. We've listened to some of the development points from agents, and we've adjusted things. Right. And I think that's important. We are here to listen and do it. We keep going on at the minute. As estate agents, I mean, let's be realistic. The good estate agents at the moment, the successful ones, are the ones that are making a difference, the ones that are making it personal, the ones that aren't just sort of sitting behind a company branding. It's like what we've been. And this is what we wanted RightVal to be. We certainly believe it's a fantastic product, but we're the face of it. We're not hiding behind people. It's not within a big corporation. You get a query, you get a question, we're there to assist you with it.
So those people sick of the faceless corporates, come to Roy.
We're here. Use us.
Robin Hood. Okay, you've been really kind, haven't you, Roy, there as well, for Kerfuffle members. Really, so that people can, suck it and see, test this service.
Test it out, try it, give it a run. As we said, we normally do the 14-day free trial. Just take it and see what you think. But with anybody coming through from you guys, we're doubling that to 28 days.
Brilliant. Thanks for that. I mean, that really gives you a proper period of time to assess this.
To play with it, break it, fix it, play with it. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that. Zoe did just ask as well, was that plus VAT? Or is that
unfortunately, yeah. As my sales manager calls it, was it plus vodka and tonic?
Yeah, don't worry. Well, the way the Rishi Sunak's going, we might still not have that, but that's...
exactly. So, but not being funny, as a business, if you're running a business and you're VAT registered, it's irrelevant anyway, because you claim it back, don't you, from an expense. So just look at it that way.
Well, look, anyone who's interested, please, as ever, go to the landing page. We'll be obviously adding more and more information. There'll be more reviews getting on there. They are a 5-star. I always say do your homework, but you've seen some of the people on here today, and thanks, guys, for commenting there. Go there. There's a inquire now if you want to get in contact, or talk to these guys direct and just mention you're a Kerfuffle member.
Yeah, we'll look after you.
Please do make sure you are a Kerfuffle member, because we've had a few of that. It's free to join again, guys, so there's no reason not to. Roy, thank you very much. I knew I was going to enjoy it. I told you we were going to do an hour. Now
you've not embarrassed me. That's the good thing.
No, it's good. No, I'm off to go crabbing now, and that opens up a whole different set of questions.
Draw the line.
Cheers, Roy. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Simon.
Cheers.
Yeah.